Just when y'all thought that Terry was done, left the kitchen, the man jumps back in and damn near commits like highway robbery, like a gunpoint. At least that's what we hope it's going to be for us. So we got a special guest man here to talk about that Jeff Okudah signing. The draft is 15 days away, man. It cannot get here soon enough. We're going to play some in or out. We're going to have a great show as always. Let's get out of your Falcon mind. Let's go. And welcome in, folks, to episode 99 of Out of Your Falcon Mind, Atlanta Falcons Fancast. My name is John, your host, joined by my co-host, as always, Mr. Mike Cottrell. 99, buddy.
99, buddy. We getting to be old, man. I love it, man. I just want to thank everybody off the rip for getting us to 99, man. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Let's go.
That's right, man. So, coming to you, as always, from Variety Sports Network. Make sure you check out Variety Sports, any other sport you're into, soccer. Well, I don't know if they got soccer yet, but definitely football, basketball, baseball. They even got NASCAR, wrestling, you name it. Go check them out and give them a sub. We can also find us on the VSN Football Network as well, and check out there and get a little subscription as well. Man, so we got a special guest in the house, man, and we might as well bring him in because we got a lot to talk about. We only got him for an hour, so let's go. Let's bring in Mr. Eric Robinson. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. E-Rob, it's good to have you, man.
Thank you for sending me the invite and hopping on, and let's talk a little bit of Falcon football tonight, man. I'm with it.
That's right, man. That's right. So for everybody that does not know who you are, man, go ahead and tell folks where they can find you, what work you do, all that good stuff.
You can find me on Twitter at @Eric_Robinson, formerly of the Falcoholic, now production assistant over at ESPN. So
you broke up right before you said ESPN. One more time. Sorry.
Production assistant over at ESPN. Yeah,
that's right.
Who leave the Falcoholic and go up? Except E-Rob. When you leave, who leave the Falcoholic for ESPN? That's E-Rob, man. It's a different beast.
Yeah, man.
I had to work the channels, man. I knew a few people around the way, and I talked to the right folks at the right time, and I got in the building. So, and I'm happy.
Love it for you, man.
That's how it works, man. And I know you're a busy man, dude. You've been making the rounds, especially on the podcast. I mean, one of the guys that I've followed for a long time on Twitter, and especially since we started doing the show, like I told Ev, man, out there fighting the good fight, trying to put out some, some quality and some thoughtful, Falcons takes.
Trying to at least.
Exactly. That's all that matters, man, because it's appreciated by a lot of people, man. I can promise you that.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Lenzer, if you're on Twitter, man, Eric runs a lot of great spaces throughout the week. I try to get on when I can. I'm in and out. Haven't been able to really actually get on one and talk yet, but been able to listen to just really good content, man. So we appreciate that, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So before we get started, when we have a guest, man.
Yep.
When'd you start? When'd your Falcon fandom start? What age? Was it a player? Was it a team? What was the reasoning? And how have you hung on this long?
December 1st, 2002.
Damn, he had the date. Look, I thought he was gonna have the year. That man have the date. Go ahead, Rob.
December 1st, 2002, overtime. Michael Vick scrambles to his left, 46 yards down the middle of the field against the Vikings to get the win. That precise moment made me a Falcons fan. That is awesome. Exact moment. I mean, that was right at the start of the whole, Vick experience and the height of Vick and him being the tremendous athlete that he was within the league. And I thought it was absolutely amazing to watch him run through an entire defense. Everybody else is running in slow motion except this dude. I was amazed. From that point on, I became a Falcons fan. How I held on to this long? Very good question, John. I have no clue. I really don't.
It's kind of a common answer.
Suffering through, the whole dogfighting thing and Petrino and
oh my God.
juggling starts between Byron Leftwich and Joey Harrington and ushering the new Vick phase in, and then not Vick phase, the new Matt Ryan era in, and then going to the playoffs first year under Matt Ryan, and then having that hiccups a few years later in the NFC title game against the 49ers, and then of course the game that we will not talk about.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know how I held on for this long, man, but it's in me. The one thing I always tell people is that, when it comes to the Falcons fan base, we don't tolerate anybody talking about our team. We may fight amongst each other.
That's it. There you go.
But if someone outside the circle says anything, it's a wrap. Like you're about to get swarmed. And, one of my colleagues at ESPN, I don't know if you saw him, but Self Wilder, he tweeted something out recently about the Falcons in their offseason, and I know him personally, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm not touching that because you are about to get jumped on Twitter, my guy.
we talked about it here. Yeah, we all got him. Everybody.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna leave that one alone.
You not want to check his quote tweets for about a week and a half on those because he had a lot of them, to say the least. Right. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, man. We like I was saying before the show, Mike and I have been fans basically since 90, 91, and some really fun times and some really obviously down times, and it's been up, a roller coaster for sure, man. That's the best way to put it. With the what did Dave say on Talk All Like this roller coaster with the terrible safety rating or something like that? That's kind of the best way to put it. It's about the best way to put it.
Going the roller coaster with a bad, it's a bad ride.
It is.
You're trying.
I got a question for you, E-Rob, because you came in on Michael Vick. I have to ask you this: if the work was put in, in the film room in the off season, all that stuff,
Falcons will have a Super Bowl.
Turns out better. Is it Michael Vick? Is it RG3? Or I forgot who's the third person I had. But is it I'm gonna do this? Is it Michael Vick or RG3 or Lamar Jackson? If the work is put in the film room in the off season in the study, who is the better quarterback?
If Mike Vick would be a Hall of Famer right now. Not only will he be a Hall of Famer right now, but the Falcons will have a trophy in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Goodness, great, yeah.
100% agree.
I truly felt that hiring Bobby Petrino was the right remedy for him. I know he hasn't gained a great reputation since, but beforehand, he was one of those guys, one of those creative offensive minds that Mike needed in order to elevate himself as a quarterback. I think because of having a coach like that in the room, it was going to warrant him to be able to be in the playbook more, study more film, work on the mechanics more, because that was the type of offense that was going to expand his skill set. It was going to be more than just, hey, just go out there and run and scare misses. I would take that to my grave. If that was the situation that we all thought it was going to be, Mike Vick will have a gold jacket right now, and the Falcons we wouldn't have to worry about when we're going to get a Super Bowl. Like a Super Bowl will already be there.
I like E-Rob, man. You giving good answers, buddy.
And somebody's going to look at it as being biased, but I felt like Vick came into the league with the skill set that those two didn't have. At least with RG3. RG3 was way more advanced as a quarterback coming into the league. Lamar was more advanced as a quarterback coming into the league, in my opinion. And he was just a raw piece of clay that scared defenses by just his legs. Imagine if he was able to expand the offense with his skill set, with his arm. My God. Man, please.
That man said a gold jacket and a ring. Come on,
gold jacket and a ring. Yep.
Yeah, man. Makes me sad to even talk about it.
Fucking mind, boy. You're on the perfect podcast. I love it.
Oh man. So yeah, so obviously I was just saying, obviously in the intro there, that Terry's had a hell of an off season, man. And we kind of thought that he was going to be done until after the draft. I thought, okay, probably chill off a little bit. And then yesterday morning, man, he comes through and we see this trade for Jeff Okudah. And like if I said if he committed could be highway robbery. I mean, the man was a 3rd overall pick. Obviously, he got hurt his first year, had a hamstring, had a shoulder, didn't play very much. Coming back his 2nd year, actually had a really good preseason. They were really excited about him, and tears his Achilles in the first game. And we all know Achilles injuries takes a while to come back from. Played pretty much the entire season last year. Had a pretty good year for the most part. I think coming here with Jerry Gray and just a new scenery anyway, but then you add Jerry Gray on top of it, and you add a guy like AJ Terrell on the other side, and you got Jesse Bates covering that deep third, and it's just, and other options as well. I mean, just the depth that we have here. I think, man, just this could be like the best one of the off season, man. Possibly.
You and I were talking about it before the show, man. It feels so refreshing. It feels like a breath of fresh air to go into an off season with money, with draft picks, knowing that you need to upgrade a roster. Normally this time of the year, I've said it on plenty of other podcasts, normally this time of year, we're not even thinking about free agency. We're already on the draft because we're like, okay, we're going to sign a couple guys here and there, maybe for some cheap deals, and then we're going to move on. Like, no, this was the first time in a very long time where we really had to focus and hone in on free agency. And there was a message that I was trying to get everyone to see beforehand, like, hey, everyone already back in December, January, they were focused on the draft. This is who we should get. This is who we should take. And I'm like, hey, there's 2 months before the draft, and there's 2 months of this team having $70 million. This roster can look completely different before the draft comes. And lo and behold, where we at right now. This roster totally different than where it was back in February.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. I mean, since January, we were like, people started asking about the draft picks. We're like, we got a lot to do first. I mean, we know the guys that are going to be there in that top 10. We'll talk about them, but I mean, there's going to be, like you said, this and the defense especially basically just got completely just renovated. I mean, so and which is great. I mean, because we obviously. And Terry said it coming in the offseason. He was like, we're in phase 3 now. And, this is when we're going to, he's putting his money where his mouth is. I mean, he's going out there and making these deals. And I just saw actually right before we came on, man, that I forgot who reported it, that Detroit actually agreed to pay like $1.5 million of Okudah's salary this year in 23. So like even better.
I mean,
yeah. And he is on a contract year. So I don't think we just pick up his option. I think if he has a great year, he may be considered, to come back and resign. But what do you think?
I think his situation is unique, but at the same time, I think it's worth a gamble. Excuse me. You're only giving up a 5th round pick for a guy that went 3rd overall. It says something about the franchise that drafted him that's willing to part ways with him this early. Especially when he's coming off a career year. He played 15 games last year, career high in tackles, career high in pass defense.
Mm-hmm.
He had a couple picks. I know he had a pick 6 in a key game down the stretch against Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
This was a kid. I think when it came to him, it wasn't really ability. It was the confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I think the longer he played in Detroit, the longer he played there, the less his confidence was as the games and the weeks went by. And I think this is a different situation. It's a change of scenery for one. And you pointed it out. I think the underrated thing about all this is the fact that he's coming from Detroit and he's getting ready to be coached by one of the best secondary coaches in the game right now, in Jerry Gray. Jerry Gray doesn't have a great track record, in my opinion, as far as a defensive coordinator. But as far as the secondaries coach, my God, you won't find many better than him. He's the reason why Jair Alexander is why Jair is out. He's the reason why Jair is Jair. He's the reason why Xavier Rhodes had his best years in his career while Jerry Gray was secondaries coach in Minnesota. And I think that right there is what's going to change things for Jeffrey Okudah. I think this is it's a swing, it's a risk, but man, could it pay off? Imagine if it does. Imagine if he comes in, Jerry Gray sprinkles a little bit of wisdom on him. Casey Hayward gets his hands on him a little bit and kind of guides him along. He has less responsibility as a CB2 now. Now he gets to go up against the second best receiver or maybe the third best receiver, and he's pairing with AJ Terrell. So that burden is taken off his shoulders. And imagine if he comes into form now. Now you're talking about like this is a top 10 cornerback tandem for sure. If he reaches his potential. And I think because of that risk that they took, it's not necessarily going to lead to them saying, hey, we have to pay him CB1 money because of how things play out. He has a career year. He can still sign an extension, but it may not be to the point where it's like, oh my God, they're paying him and AJ Terrell these CB1 type numbers. So I think it's a risk that we've seen Fontenot taken over this time, and it's paid off so far, honestly. I mean, he kind of sort of took a risk when he brought in Cordero Patterson for 1 year, $3 million. And look what Cordero Patterson has done so far. It was the same thing as bringing in a guy like Lorenzo Carter for a 1 year deal. He comes in and he was one of the team's best defenders, and he earned himself an extension this offseason as well. So I got to give Fontenot the benefit of the doubt here. And me personally, outside of the Brian Edwards trade, show me another trade where he's lost so far.
No, that's nice. Yep.
He won the Julio trade. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, hell yeah.
They got 2 draft picks, and Tennessee had to part ways with him after one season. They won the Matt Ryan trade. They got Matt Ryan's money off the books, gave it to Indy. That's Indy's problem now. Indy had to part ways with him 1 year after paying him almost $40 million. They won the trade. I gotta give my guy a benefit of the doubt here.
Yeah, Mike, what do you think, buddy, when that trade went down?
Man, I'm so excited because again, it is a very low risk for maybe a very high reward, and it's like I don't know why anybody wouldn't like it because it's not like he threw a bag of money at him. Like you got a very low risk for who knows. Like when you get a 3rd round pick, you never know. Like if it go right, you might be staring at top 10 cornerback. You might be staring at a top 10 secondary. Yeah, I cannot wait to see this. Like I'm saying Super Bowl and we go undefeated.
Of course you are.
Anyway. I'm me. So I could not be more excited.
Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. Hey,
that'll happen with Mike.
Like Bigfoot steps. I'm taking Bigfoot steps. I'm in a plane. I'm flying. I'm not even taking steps. So I'm just so excited, man, because again, I had a joke that the only thing that Falcons Twitter I ever seen them agree on was Jesse Bates in my life. I never that was it. And but this seems to be something that we kind of all agree on. Like we was all excited for this, and that's rare to get peace on Falcons Twitter is something else. So I'm excited.
Yeah. No, email when we do our preview shows in the season when we always predict the scores. Mike's never predicted us to lose ever. Just so you know, like I mean, it doesn't matter who we're playing. Like he's not predicting us.
We play Jesus and the 12 man, you know what I'm saying? Disciples. I'm picking Atlanta, man. I'm not going to this much.
Well, see, you know what, and you brought that point up there, Mike. That's going to help him too. He hasn't played with a free safety of that caliber while he was in Detroit. No. You know, having that safety net on the back end it relieves a little bit for cornerbacks as well. You can play a little looser. You can play a little bit more reckless because you know you have a ball hawk behind you that can probably, clean things up for you. So, I mean, I think this is you never know what a change of scenery can do for a player. I mean, you look at
E-Rob, ask you this, buddy. Are we, and I want you to be honest, are we all a bit too excited? Are we saying, oh, this is guaranteed, this is gonna go good? Are we all like saying this is guaranteed when it's still very questionable? Or do you feel like this isn't, for the most part, this is guaranteed to be a great secondary? Or are we all just jumping the gun because we excited because we had some money to spend?
No, I think you have every reason to be excited about this, at least even with the secondary. We're not even talking about the entire defense, just with the secondary alone, because there's so many. Again, I think the more I'm a guy that when it comes to team building, is more than just a roster. It's also who you put in the locker room. It's also the type of knowledge that you put on the sideline. And I thought Jerry Gray was just as much as an important hire as Ryan Nielsen was. Like I said, I don't think Jerry Gray, I don't think much of Gray as a DC. He doesn't have the greatest track record, in my opinion, as a DC, but as a secondaries guy, he's one of the best. He's elite in that aspect. And I think that was one of the more underrated acquisitions that they made this offseason as well. You bringing him inside the building, he can still help develop AJ Terrell, who's not reached his potential yet as well. You bring in a guy like Jesse Bates, who's played great football over the past few years. He's played postseason football over the past few years. You bringing him in, you're allowing Richie Grant to play more of a robber role in the middle of the field, closer to the line of scrimmage, which is probably something he's better suited at anyway. You're allowing everybody to play what they probably feel more comfortable as. Now, again, AJ Terrell, he knows he doesn't, even with him having that responsibility as a CB1, he knows he's got a safety on the back end. He knows he's got an extra teacher on the sideline. I think bringing back a guy like Casey Hayward would be critical, not just for what he can do on the field, but another leader, another voice in the locker room, another cornerbacks coach, essentially. You have every reason to be excited about this secondary. There's top 10 potential for sure. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
So man, E-Rob just justified me. So y'all leave me alone. When I say we going three-peat, we going three-peat. Now you heard it from him.
Now, Mike, I didn't say that. I didn't say that, Mike. Okay, I just said the secondary is gonna be good. That's it.
Reel it in.
No, what you said about Gray's perfect though. I mean, there's guys like that just you don't like DQ, not really a great head coach, but hey, he can really coach some defense. You know what I mean? So I mean,
some guys are just better suited for that. I mean, you look at some of these coaches that are coming in the league that tried their hand as a head coach, and in actuality, they're probably better suited as a DC guy. And as a particular coordinator, that's just how some guys are. I think that's what Jerry Gray is, and I think it's smart. It's another smart move by a young head coach and Arthur Smith to say, "Hey, you know what? I don't need a staff full of green faces, on that particular side of the ball. That's not my side of the ball. But let me get some wise teachers. We can say whatever we want to say about Dean Pease, but I still think that was a smart hire to bring in a guy like that
100%
early on in your tenure." Instead of bringing in an inexperienced coach who doesn't know how to coach millionaires, You know, you're bringing in teachers now, guys that have played postseason football, guys that have won a ton of games in the league. I think it's going to pay off for sure.
And we'll finish up Okudah. I thought what you said initially about his confidence, perfect, because his senior year at his senior year at Ohio State, he gave up only a passer rating of 42.5. I mean, he had an amazing senior year. Then he gets drafted by the Lions. Obviously, if you're going top 5, you're probably going to not a great team, right? So he gets drafted by the Lions, gets hurt, never really gets to get his footing, and you're on a bad team, and it just doesn't. And it's probably the first time in his life that it's just, you know, I mean, Division I kid, high Division I school, never really saw this type of failure before, never really dealt with this type of injuries before, and it just snowballs, man. And so that's a huge effect on somebody. So coming to Atlanta with what like we said before, with everything we have around us, man, is I couldn't be more excited, man. I think he's gonna relish it, man, and just and not, you know, and not everybody does well in their contract year, but it is a contract year, and you know that is typically that's always a reason to do well, right?
More times than not, that does pay
more
off.
times than not.
When players know that there's money hanging over their head, that's when you honestly are going to get arguably the best play out of them.
Caleb McGarry, baby, exactly right.
Yes.
Prime example. Prime example. So not only does he have something to prove, because Detroit thought of him, they thought low of him, like, hey, you're only worth the round pick. Okay, that chip is on the shoulder. Not to mention, it's a contract year. That chip is on my shoulder too. All right. Hey, you might get the best out of Jeff Okudah this year. You never know.
Never know, man. Never know. Let's hop in the chat before we move on to the draft. Dre, what's up, brother?
Dre.
So what's going on, fellas? Checking in early, waiting on a great show as usual. Rise up. Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you. Bubba Gump.
Steamed shrimp. Berto.
Well, Berto, what's going on, man?
Berto.
What's going on, Liam? Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Vic, what's happening? Good to see you. Steven, ATL Hair, what's happening? On that work clock, y'all got to help the time go by with the banger. Hey, of course we're going to, man. You know that. We're going
Love you, buddy.
Super Contra, what's going on, man? Good to see you back in here. Oh, man. So, Bill Gump said, what's up, E-Rob? Alberto said E-Rob, what's happening? Chris Jameson, what's going on, man? Good to see you, bud. Joyce said, what up, fellas? What up, E-Rob?
What up? What up?
Travis said, if you're still here after 2016, you're in it for the long haul. You ain't lying, man.
You are a soldier. If you're still here after that,
man,
you are a soldier, man. Absolutely.
I've told the story before, Eric, man. My son was like, well, our sons are almost the same age, right? So have you brought him up a Falcons fan? Is he a Falcons fan? Has he chosen to be a Falcons fan? Or is he into football?
He's not.
Not into football, or not a Falcons
fan? The hurt on his face. Oh, the hurt. Did you see the hurt?
Yeah. He's not into football.
Okay, well, all right. Well, I mean, that's at least I thought it was you about to tell me like
knowing that his dad is at the 4-letter, he's like, oh, okay, cool, I guess.
Well, all right. So
it hurts, man. It hurts.
I can see it. I can see it. I really thought you were about to say he was like a Saints fan or something. So that's almost better that he's not.
He's be in this house.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Anyway, my kid was 5 or 6 years old. 6 years old when that. No, he was 5, almost 6. The Super Bowl. He went to bed at 28-3, and he was so happy. And I was like, "Oh, we got this. You can go ahead and go to bed." Dude, the next morning he woke up, and I told him what happened, and he cried. And I really debated on telling him, like, "Dude, you might just want to go choose another team because I don't know if I'm being a bad parent. I'm not sure it was. I mean, like." And
I sat in my dark living room for like an hour and a half, man, just because I knew what life was going to be like from that point on.
Yeah.
And I had to go to work the next day. And that at that point in time, I was in the military. Everyone knew I was a Falcons fan. So, of course, you're getting the what happened? What went on? Why did this? I thought y'all won. You're answering questions like you're at a press conference.
Yep. You got to answer for the team.
Yeah. I was off Twitter for a good 2 or 3 days. I couldn't.
Oh, dude, I never watched it since. I
never will.
No, I listened. I really didn't want to listen to the radio, but I kind of needed it for like just some like therapy. So like the next morning I turned on, and it was 680 and Brian Finneran was at the game, and he had just it was like he spoke for every like Atlanta fan that morning. Like it was great radio. But yeah, I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to. I just it was just. But backtrack. Liam is still a huge Falcons fan, so he's stuck. If he's gonna, I mean, that's his first really introduction to it. Like I told him, I said, dude, I don't think it can get any worse. Like I hope not. I really hope not. If it does, then holy shit. But I really don't think it's going to get any worse. So
I don't think it can either. That was just, man. I haven't watched it since. I mean, I may see a play every now and then. It so happens to come up on television or whatever, but I haven't watched the game. I haven't watched like a full highlight on YouTube. No. I refuse to do so. I will go to my grave without watching that game ever again.
It's traumatizing.
It is, man. It is.
Hey, Doc, thank you for subbing, buddy.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, welcome in, dude. Carrie, what's going on? So excited about the show tonight. Also excited they're starting to announce these jersey numbers. I did see that. I saw that.
Yep.
I saw that, man. Yeah, man. Alberta's still the offseason, fellas. I think so, buddy. I think so.
Rob, whose jersey you got in that closet, man?
I'm not a jersey wearer no more, man.
Oh,
I don't rock jerseys no more. It's you grow out of it.
Yeah, but all right. What gear is your favorite gear? How about your favorite gear? Do you have a pair of socks?
I got plenty of Falcons hoodies and.
What's your favorite one? You got a favorite hat, hoodie, pair of socks? What you got?
My favorite one, my favorite hoodie. I still wear it to this day, even when I go to the gym. It's a Julio Jones hoodie.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, and I can't let that go. I can't let that go. I know somebody asked me recently, like, Julio doesn't play for the Falcons anymore. I'm like, he will always.
Hey, it don't matter.
He will always be a Falcon. I don't know what. I don't care what other jersey he puts on. He will always be a Falcon. But I have plenty of hoodies and fitted caps and beanies. I just I don't wear jerseys anymore. That's my thing. That's not my thing. Yeah,
I got you.
I'm gonna be like a 185-year-old dude wearing a jersey one day.
Man, I'm gonna be in my grave with a Matt Ryan jersey. I want to get buried in a Matt Ryan jersey.
You probably will. You probably will. You're not.
I'll wear a Matt Ryan jersey in my grave.
What's going on, Ty? Yeah, he pretty much agreed with everything you said, man. Yeah, he just said E-Rob just stole all my words. So yeah. Chris Emerson having Bates to back him up should give him a ton of confidence. Yeah, and you know what? I went back and watched. I went online. I saw somebody said that he had a great game against Justin Jefferson. I went back and watched that game against the Vikings, and he did. He shut down Jefferson pretty much that game, but he did have a lot of help over the top. So like, but it was still. Hey, I don't care, man. You still you let him like 4 catches. I mean,
he had a good game.
I'll take it.
He was physical that game for sure.
I definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I didn't say, but yeah, guys, he's 6'1", 200 pounds basically is what he's. So he's coming in, upper size for a corner. Talking looking at the increase.
You hear a lot about his smarts, his football IQ.
Right.
I've heard that on numerous occasions about him. Like the natural ability you see on the field is one thing, but what he has between the ears is what really impresses people about him. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes as well.
Agreed. Tyler said, looking at the increase in talent and depth of this defense this offseason is enough to make a man cry. You ain't kidding, dude. And dude, the depth thing is so huge for me because, like, we saw what happened last year when Hayward went down, right?
Oh, man.
So, the more depth we can get, because the injuries are going to happen, man. It's just part of the game. It's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen. It could be your best player. It could be your backup. It could be who knows what. It's going to happen. So the deeper you can be, man, I'm all for it.
I blame Thomas Dimitrov for that, but we don't have to get into that.
Oh my God, we could do. That's another show. It's another entire.
Right.
Ty said, E-Rob always speaking logical facts in the spaces when I come in. When it comes to Bijan, it still infuriates me when people are hating on him going that early, regardless of we're going to get to that just in a few minutes, man. Because Alberto said, E-Rob, do you think that closes the door on Christian Gonzalez at 8? That's Berto's guy, man, and I love him too, man. I got watched. That was one of my favorite corners to watch. Him and Witherspoon, obviously the two big guys. But so we'll just go ahead and get into it, man. So with Okudah signing, I don't think it necessarily shuts the door like completely closed. I think it's definitely a lot more likely we don't go corner now. But he is only on a 1-year deal, so like, and we look at those top 7 picks, and it does seem like there could be 4 quarterbacks picked in those top 7. So it really kind of boils down to what does Seattle do? what does the Cardinals do? And I mean, you know, I guess the Las Vegas is kind of we don't know really what the hell they're going to do, but I mean, so what do you think, man, as far as that corner position at 8?
One thing that I pointed out, one thing I noticed about Terry Fontenot early on when he came in, when he was hired, one of the first things he said was that he studied Ozzie Newsome and his strategy to roster building as a GM. And with him making that statement, he said eventually he wants to get the team to have a BPA approach when it comes to the draft. And for the most part, under Ozzie Newsome, that's what the Ravens did. You go back to this past draft, when you go back to this past offseason, last offseason for the Ravens, they brought in Marcus Williams from the Saints. They had Chuck Clark. First round came. Who did they take? Kyle Hamilton.
Yep.
It wasn't about, you have two safeties already. You don't need this guy. It was more so about, we have a roster where we want it. Let's add a playmaker. I'm not going to say it shuts the door on Christian Gonzalez, but as you mentioned, Jeffrey Okudah is only on a 1-year deal.
Right.
Essentially. What's the best way to truly get the best out of a player, honestly? Outside of money? Just to put somebody behind him that he has to look over his shoulder like, okay, if it don't work out for me, Christian's already here to replace me. That's something Dimitroff didn't do for Vic Beasley or Tack McGinley. They let him start for 4 years and didn't bring in any competition behind him. So I'm not going to say it slams the door on it, but I honestly would not be surprised if they get to a certain point in the draft. Christian Gonzalez is there. Jalen Carter's gone. Tyree Wilson's gone. Will Anderson's gone. Christian's there, and maybe Bijan or maybe a couple other defenders, and they look at it and say, hey, you know what? We do think Christian Gonzalez is the best player available. He's the best corner on the board. Why not take him? Why not have a secondary that you can roll out with AJ Terrell, Jeff Okudah, and Christian Gonzalez? Whew.
But hold on. But here's what I'm asking you, E-Rob. If it comes to our pick, and you sitting at home, and Arthur Blank and Arthur Smith call your phone, say, E-Rob, we got 3 picks. We don't know who to choose. We got Jalen Carter still on the board. Bijan is on the board.
You don't want me to answer that question,
and Gonzalez is on the board.
You don't want me to answer that question, Mike.
Jalen, Gonzalez, and Bijan are on the board, but they saying you pick E-Rob because we can't pick. Who you picking?
Bijan. I'm sorry.
Man, you didn't even hesitate, E-Rob. Come on, man. You didn't even think about it.
I'm sorry. I told you didn't want me to answer that question.
That's great. Hell no.
Why didn't you think about it? I want to know, why is that such a fast go for you? Like, you just automatic. Why is that?
Because I truly believe that he's the best pure talent in the draft. Regardless of it.
And you picking a running back in the top 10.
I'm also a running team that's going to run the ball close to 60%.
E-Rob with the logic.
Hey, not just that. And I'll tell you what, man. Like, I initially, when we first started talking about this, a month and a half ago, like, I was not for it. Like, initially, and I mean, I was just like, nah, man. Tyler, this offense, we don't need that type of guy. But then you start watching film, and you're like, damn, So yeah, I mean, like, and I saw a few games like during the season, like I saw a few here or there, but nothing like, like when you can get into all 22 and really start watching what he does, where he lines up, what he can do. And I said last week on the show, dude, I think he's the best running back prospect I've seen since Adrian Peterson, me personally. And so in the folks, and I get it, man. Like, and
man, that's so big of a statement you just made. It's like,
it is.
I'm not even saying I'm 100% believe it. Like, and I know Gurley and I know Saquon. He looks better to me, dude. Like, what he can do on the field. Not to mention his pass catching ability. Like, you can literally line him up anywhere.
He can truly have, when it's all said and done, he definitely has best running back in the league potential.
Yes,
he can have a LaDainian Tomlinson type impact on your offense. how do you say no to that? And how do you say no to that simply because you have a 5th rounder in the backfield and a 32-year-old wide receiver that just started playing running back a couple years ago? You're saying no to that type of potential when you're a running offense. That's the thing. This is where I feel some don't understand the scheme that's being implemented. If this was a Kansas City Chiefs like scheme, you wouldn't see me sitting here saying, let's take Bijan.
I got you.
Because I know they're not going to run. I know this team is going to run the football. And I know this team is going to want to run the football with a stable of running backs, not just one guy. Yes, he had Derrick Henry, but how many 6'3", 250-pound running backs are coming into the league? Of course, you're only going to hand the ball off to him and him only. He's a defensive end playing running back, of course. But you got a guy like Tyler Algier who was good last year. Do not get me wrong, but he's a 5th rounder, okay? And this is the reason why the running back shelf life is so low in the league, because people are like, well, we have one. We're fine. Let's just feed him. That's why Zeke only lasted 7 years in Dallas, because he didn't have a Tony Pollard for his first 4 years. That's the problem. That's why Marshawn Lynch was able to if it's such an issue, Marshawn Lynch was able to carve out 15 years in the league with his type of running style. Frank Gore was able to run for how long?
Frank Gore, the man,
exactly, because these guys played in offenses where they had other guys around them that were able to. They were the bell cows, but they were still able to share the load a little bit. You bring in a guy like Bijan Robinson with his talent, you can still be able to run the ball 30 times a game. You can get 15 to him, you get 15 to Algier. And you know what? My thing is, if you really want to confuse defenses, if you really want to hurt defenses, you feed them Algier and Bijan for 3 quarters, and you let a fresh Cordero come in the fourth and ice the game for you. You guys remember what he did in Seattle last year?
Oh yeah,
when it was time to close the game.
Oh yeah,
Cordero, close it for us. And Seattle couldn't do a damn thing because they were already gassed.
Yep. And
how do you defend this offense with Pitts, London, Jonnu, and him being flanked by Bijan and Algier? How do you defend that? For those that don't want Bijan, I want you to tell me, how do you defend that?
I mean, I've I went. There's obviously the running backs. This is pretty good class running backs, and we went through it. I mean, I get that, there's Jahmyr Gibbs, who I don't think will be there at 44. It's possible, but I don't think so. Roschon, I love his backup. Roschon Johnson's been one of my favorite kind of starter, I guess you could say, running backs in this draft, just because of what he could do. And he's very much of the Tyler build, 220 pounds, big guy as well. Come in, you're not really missing anything. The difference with Bijan and I don't know that I would go this way at 8. Like to me, like I think he's not. It's not a complete need, but if they pick him, I'm still doing a dance. Like I'm still gonna be happy as hell because but just everything you just said, and not to mention there's a difference in his talent level and a Roschon or anybody else that you could pick up in the 4th or 5th. We're talking about a guy that can take it to the house at any point, anywhere on the fit at any time. Like it's and get him like Savion, I think, said a few weeks ago, the man can get out of a phone booth, man. Like, and you see it. Like I said, you watch the film and I'm not even going to. I mean, Barry Sanders is the best person I've ever seen as far as that shiftiness and getting in and out goes. But damn it, it resembles what Barry looked like back in the day when he's in and out.
225,
right?
You don't normally see big backs.
No, Barry was 5'8", 5'9". Like I mean, it was different, but the way he shifts in and out, his vision too, man, is what blows me away.
In between multiple defenders, you can go back to the Oklahoma game, and I think a lot of people know what play I'm talking about in that Oklahoma game. He was surrounded by 5 defenders, and he makes one simple cut into the open field, and he's housing it for 65 yards. Like you can't teach that. And I think, Arthur Smith said he wanted to get more explosive on offense this upcoming season. There's more ways to get explosive than just throwing the ball 80 yards down the field. You can get explosive with a running game where you have such a different dynamic. You have a bruiser in Algier, and you have a guy that can take 80 yards whenever he feels like it.
Mhm.
And again, I still want people to tell me, if you don't want Bijan, how are you going to defend this? Because the one thing that we've seen from Arthur Smith in the 2 years that he's been here, with the lack of talent that he's truly had on offense, he still has been able to be creative with his play designs.
Mhm.
Can't sit here and tell me he won't when he's got Bijan here. I mean, hell, the guy had Jonnu in Tennessee, and he lined Jonnu in the backfield sometimes.
Calais said in his interview that he remembers being when he was in Jacksonville, having to scheme against Arthur's offense. It was one of the toughest ones he had to scheme against while he was playing in Jacksonville.
And what did he have? All he had was really Derrick Henry and Jonnu Smith and AJ Brown, essentially. That's all he really had.
That was it.
And he still made it work.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I know people look at the position, but again, they don't understand the scheme. They think that, and Cordarrelle's only on this. He's on the final year of his deal, and as much as I love Cordero has slowed down in the second half of the season in back-to-back.
Yeah.
Then you sit here and you look at Caleb Huntley. Caleb Huntley tore his Achilles. He may not even be back until October, November, maybe. I don't know.
And that's an explosive runner. And what do you need for explosion? You need your damn Achilles to work right.
You do. Yeah. So, I have tendonitis in my Achilles, and so I already know, like, that can be something you will never be the same again if it's damaged a certain way. So I don't understand why people are just looking at it and it hurt. Well, it doesn't hurt, but it's head scratching because you're not understanding what the team has done over the past 2 years. We all thought they were going to go quarterback 2 years ago. And what did they take?
Yeah.
They took a tight end at 4. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
We thought they were going to go do this last year. And they went receiver.
Yeah. Well, I got in a conversation with a guy on Twitter the other day about the same thing. I said, look, they tight end at 4. You don't think they're going to possibly take the best player in the draft who's a running back, who has to be a running back? And he brought up the fact, he's like, well, you got to look at Pitts as a weapon. I said, dude, Bijan's the same damn thing. Like, he's not just a running back either.
Yes.
Like
he's the Falcons of this draft.
Right. If he comes off it doesn't mean if Tyler could line up in the backfield and you can still put Bijan in the slot at any point and he'd be just fine. He would destroy whatever corner is on him. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he would. So, I mean,
and line up a dual set with London and Pitts on the left.
Oh man, yeah.
Call a timeout. I don't know how to
call a timeout.
Call a timeout.
Yeah.
What
I mean, and the whole backstory of this is, what does this do for Ritter's confidence? And what does this do to? I mean, Ritter would have that type of, like. I mean, he's already got some talent around him. And my God, you give him that talent around him, then Lord.
That's only going to help him. That's only going to help him. You got a young quarterback there that you're not truly understood, how he is as a quarterback. The best way to truly know, how a quarterback is by surrounding him with a certain level of talent. And if he doesn't work out, then we know at that point who Desmond Ridder is. But give him the best opportunity.
D, man, I'm sorry, buddy. You're probably not enjoying this conversation then. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But we're explaining all the reasons why it would be
I just want to explain something real quick. I just want to, because I'm not a person who's seen college, I'm not into it like that. I just started watching. So I think the problem with people
the Mike freezes every episode, buddy. It's like it's just a matter of time before it happens. So it's when he's making some kind of weird ass face too. It's great. All right, let me get back. I just saw somebody else in the chat here. A.T. Harris, I broke into some Charlie Jones film, a day 3 wide receiver type. I think we go for more speed, but he's fun as hell. Any wide receivers you want, Eric?
Jonathan Mingo out of Ole Miss.
That's a good call.
That
is a good call.
Here's what I just want to explain to everybody. What I'm understanding from everybody we talk to is just like Kyle Pitts, it's a unicorn. I just heard John say Barry Sanders, and we heard Adrian Peterson, and we heard Damian Thompson, which is amazing. These are 3 of the best running backs that ever was in the NFL. When they tell you they're saying he's a Swiss Army knife, y'all know we could use that. If the description is true, That's probably what we need more than anything on offense. To be honest, we seem to show up the defense, and with the cornerback we just got, we may not need Christian. So the Bijan may be the smartest pick because we just got the corner we just got. So I'm saying, like he just asked you, how can you stop that on offense? Y'all don't want a dynamic offense. We all celebrating the defensive move. We might have a dynamic defense. We may need a dynamic offense, and he may be the piece to make it dynamic. That's all I'm saying. I know y'all judging it just because his name Bijan. That's kind of crazy. And then 2, it's a running back in the first round, top 10. That's kind of crazy. But from everything everybody's saying, dog, when you mentioning Barry Sanders and Adrian Peterson and Mr. Thompson, now I want it. And I was a Christian Gonzalez. Now I'm talking to E-Rob. He got me thinking we win the Super Bowl. We going 3P. We getting Bijan. He had 2,000 yards. I love him.
As long as Ritter takes care of the football, that's a top 10 offense.
Yeah. Look at this one. Look at what they saying is what I'm saying.
Immediately, that is a top 10 offense. As long as Ritter takes care of the football, because they're going to run. They were 3rd in the league last year with what they had. And again, you still kind of sort of want to help Algier as well. You don't want to run him into the wall. That's how Devontae Freeman.
Oh, dude,
he only lasted but so much because Tevin Coleman had so many injuries, and they didn't really have anything outside of that. It was really just Devontae. So it's like, I mean,
Michael Turner fell off a cliff.
Yeah. Like, it's just, you got to preserve these running backs, and the best way to do it is to provide a stable of running backs. Now, I know that they have other guys in the running back class that they like. You know, they talked about Tajay Spears and things of that nature. Spear Gibbs, the name is getting tossed out there, but I want people to understand. Okay,
break it down.
Bijan. There's everybody else.
Yeah.
I like Tajay as a prospect. Okay. But Tajay ain't doing what Bijan's going to be doing, okay? I just, for a team that's lacked talent over the last few years, I just don't understand how we can scoff at blue chip talent. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's and on that difference between Beyonce and Kelly Rowland is what he's trying to say.
and on that note, you know, talking about the edges that are there, like I've watched the edge, I've watched them all, and I went back to watch them again because, you know, we all kind of assume Anderson's going to be gone, so not including Anderson. There's Tyree, who's obviously, you know, been mocked a lot to us. Tyree Wilson, if he gets past Arizona or Seattle or whoever else, or the Lions. Of course, Miles Murphy and Lucas Van Ness.
Yeah.
So I've watched these guys over and over again, and none of them screams at me like you've got to take him at 8. Like, and then there's never, they all have good traits. They all have stuff that can be coached up. I just don't. The production necessarily hasn't been there in college. So that's the only thing that worries me about taking it. I know we need an edge there. I know we still need an edge, but this class is fairly deep with edges as well. So I don't know that you reach necessarily to find a guy there at 8 that you just to fill him.
I think that's what some people want to do just for the sake of taking an edge. Like some people will feel satisfied by taking the 4th best edge at 8 just to say, well, we got
an edge. Right.
That's not valuable to me. You're taking a guy that's not going to give you top 10 production, and then you're going to be upset in 3 or 4 years when he's only averaging 5 or 6 sacks. Well, why is he not? Well, that's probably because he got overdrafted and he should have been taken that high. I mean, that's just how it is. The Falcons last year, they wanted Thibodeau. Thibodeau was taken. So they said, you know what? Instead of getting Jermaine Johnson, who at that point in time was the 3rd or 4th best edge, and overdraft at 8, why not just get the best receiver on our board and take Drake London? And they did. I mean, you got to understand that value has a lot more placement in the draft than just, you know, addressing a need. Addressing a need is fine, don't get me wrong, but you can easily overdraft in that manner as well. You can easily find a bust in that manner as well. So
well, I mean, like, to me, like, all these guys have they're all kind of projects in their own way. So it's just a matter of kind of what project. I mean, look, if they look at Tyree Wilson and say, and Nielsen says, yeah, that's my dude, like, I can absolutely make this guy a monster. Okay, fine. Like,
I'm with it. I'm fine with it. I'm not against Christian Gonzalez. I'm not against Tyree Wilson. I'm not against, you know, taking Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter's there.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just saying, if you're going to be a Falcons fan from this point on with Terry Fontenot running your team, you need to have an open mind. you better. And if you haven't had one yet, then you're lagging behind because he's going to address the roster the way that they want to address it. Yeah. And they want to get talent everywhere.
Yeah. And out of those edges I mentioned, like who's kind of your favorite edge, I guess you could say?
Oh, man. I mean, favorite, of course, is Will Anderson, but he's probably not going to be there. But in a more realistic manner, Tyree Wilson definitely fits the bill as far as what they look for. And I couldn't help but think Cam Jordan when I was looking at his tape. Yeah. He reminded me so much of Cam Jordan. And, he last 2 years, he posted 7 sacks each year. There was very little, if any, NFL talent around him. He was game planned for by opposing offenses every Saturday, double teamed, but yet he was still productive. To me, that says a lot compared to a guy like Myles Murphy at Clemson, who was surrounded by NFL talent and had a drop off in sacks from his junior year to his senior year. He was being outplayed by a guy that's probably going to get taken in the first round as well, in Brian Bresee, who's a 6'5", 300-pound defensive tackle. I have concerns with that, but people want to take him at 8 just to say, well, we took an edge. Great. He's not top 10 talent, guys.
No, he's not.
I'm sorry. But
no, he's not, dude. I watched him too, and he flashes here and there, but the consistency is nowhere close to where you want it to be.
Not at 8.
No. And the same thing for me with Lucas Van Ness. I like Lucas Van Ness a lot, but dude, he has a hard time getting off his blocks in the run game. He's got a lot of power, but that's about it. So you're talking about
a lot of cleanup sacks.
Yes. So and I've seen the knock on Anderson over these last few days about saying, well, that's how Alabama runs their defense. I get the way, he does a lot of stunts, he does a lot of twists, and that interior gets a lot of. I mean, they definitely helped out. No doubt about it. But the amount of pressures that man got over his career, you don't get just because the interior line's doing a good job. Like you are. I mean, you're a legitimate edge.
And I know Georgia fans that may be watching that may not want to hear this, but I mean, if they so happen because they're interested in taking Nolan Smith at 8, I'm a little concerned there too. I get Georgia runs their defense a certain way, but let's just be real. He wasn't the most productive guy at Georgia. I see the potential. I saw how he tested, but if I'm going to take a guy at 8, normally if I take a guy in the top 10, 15, one thing that I look for is I need to see plenty of examples where he was either the best player on that unit or he was the best player on the field, bar none. Plain and simple. You can look at last year. There's plenty of evidence where Kayvon Thibodeau was the best player on the field at times. Certain guys that you take that high, you go to Kyle Pitts. The year Kyle Pitts came out, his season at Florida, there was games. He's the best player on the field, even as a tight end. I have not seen much of that, if any, from Nolan Smith.
Yeah. I got a question, E-Rob. I got one for you. Speaking of that, E-Rob, you can take any Falcon that has ever played for the Atlanta Falcons. You can take that Falcon and you can get him for one season at the peak of his talent for next season to add to this team. Who are you adding on for one season at the peak of his talents? It could be any Falcon that's ever played to fit with this team specifically for next season. Who are you adding? Ooh. I got him, John. Johnny Yates. Out of your Falcon mind. Who you taking, E-Rob? One season at the peak of his talents.
I'm stuck. I'm stuck between Vick, and John Abraham.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Good one. Well, you have to pick one, E-Rob. Who you getting? You can't be stuck in this moment. We need you to decide. God. Who you adding?
You know what? I know what most will go, but I just want to see, man. I'm just curious. Because as long as Vick was here,
I knew he was.
He didn't have this level of talent around him. They gave him Peerless Price, and they told him to go win ball games.
Yeah,
they told him to create an effective running, which he did with TJ Duckett. You know, for one season, I just want to see what that will look like with Vick, Pitts, London, Cordero, Gier. And maybe Bijan if you just draft Bijan at 8.
I got you.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's sick.
What the hell would you do with that?
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
I'm curious. Let Bijan replace Duck. Let Bijan be your Duckett. Let Algier be your Warwick Dunn. Bring in Vick, and then you still give him his go-to tight end. Pitts replace Algie Crumpler, and Drake replaces Peelis Price.
Man,
you had defensive coordinators getting zero sleep that week.
No.
Zero sleep.
Yeah.
I know most fans are like, well, let's go get the guy, let's go get the sacks because we don't have a sack artist. I get it. But I'm just curious.
You gotta see.
What that look like?
I know, man. Well, I know you got to go in a few minutes too, Eric. Wallace said, "What do y'all think about that safety from Illinois? We could possibly draft Sidney Brown. I think we're talking about.
I really like Sidney Brown. Very versatile defensive back coming out of Illinois. Had a career high in interceptions last year with 6. He's your Swiss Army knife type of defender. If you go back to Ryan Nielsen's time in New Orleans, those defenses were operated under a lot of times a 3 safety system where oftentimes you saw Malcolm Jenkins come down as the slot defender. I think Sidney Brown can serve in that particular role where he can be that 3rd safety on the field with Jesse Bates, with Richie Grant. The guy's a playmaker. His tackling needs to be improved, but it's not like we haven't seen a safety that's back there that's only back there to be able to be a ball hawk that's not a great tackler, Thomas Deku. But that's
sneak jab.
Sidney Brown is, to me, I think he's a very underrated playmaker. And I think if he played at a more prestige university, well, not prestige, I don't want to knock the university.
No, you're right though.
More of a house, more of a brand name, then he probably would be a 2nd round pick for sure, in my opinion. But I like him a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Eric, you got to run, buddy.
Yes, sir. I do. I got to run. This was fun,
dude. Thanks for coming by, man. Yeah, we got to get you back on after the draft, and
absolutely.
And like I said before, man, you're more than welcome. Next week, 100th show is probably gonna be going from, I'm guessing, 7 to probably 9:30. I mean, you're more than welcome to come back in, man, and just we'll have a few fun questions, and a few just to throw at people as they come into the chat or whatever, and have a good time. But man, tell everybody again where they can find you if they joined later on before you head out.
You can find me on Twitter at _Eric_Robinson.
Perfect.
Thank
you, brother, man.
I just want to say this before you go.
What's up, Mike?
Dog, what you doing over at ESPN, going from the Falcons, all it did. That is not a small deal. We all so proud of you. You were inspiration to all of us, brother. Like, I'm not being funny. Like, that's major shit that no one else done. No one else in the space did what you did. So
I appreciate it. I appreciate
you are like the Julio Jones of this shit, man. Don't you ever forget it. Don't you ever fucking forget it, man. We love you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
You, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for you guys having me on. This was fun. We can definitely do this again after the draft, and we can talk about the entire draft class. We can sum up. Hopefully, we might be having some Bijan talk in that.
There you go.
Who knows, buddy?
Early congratulations to you guys for your 100th episode as well, man.
Thank you.
Much
That's a
man.
milestone for sure, man. That is a milestone that a lot of podcasts can't say that they've reached, and I'm hoping you guys do another 100 after that as well.
Man, that's our goal, buddy. That's our goal.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you, bud. Have a good one.
Thank you, Rob.
Man, we'll see you next time, brother.
All right.
That was
all right, boys. Yeah, man, I wish we had longer with Eric, man, but he's a busy man. He's got to hit other podcasts, so it's all good. So let's hit the chat before we get back into this. Dre said, "Damn, what I'm back. Got tied up where what I
missed a lot. You missed E-Rob, Dre.
Man, we just talked honestly, it was a lot of Bijan, man, because that's Eric's guy, and that's who he wants. And I mean, I don't. Like I said before, man, I'm not going to be mad if we do. I still don't know that I would personally pull the trigger on it, depending on who's there.
Yeah,
that's all it boils down to.
No,
right?
I'm not being funny, man. I've been talking to y'all and so many people. I'm pulling the trigger. I want Bijan now. Now I'm going. Now I get hyped real fast. It's easy to get me excited. Now I want Bijan. Man, Dre was in the chat with me with Low last night. With Bigelow, had an amazing show. Shout out to Bigelow. That's my guy.
I love it. I love it. Ty said Vegas has top 30 with Jalen yesterday. Imagine him between Max Crosby and Chandler Jones.
Man,
Yeah,
that's
wow.
another
Yeah.
good one. I love
That's the
Jalen
thing, man.
Carter.
Like
I love Jalen Carter.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's the thing. Like if Jalen happens to be there, like I think I'm taking Jalen still over Bijan because
So Johnny Yates, if they call you and the three again, Christian is still on the board, Jalen is still on the board, Bijan is up. They say Johnny Yates, we at a standstill. The voting is tied. We need Johnny Yates to break the tie. What you saying?
I think I'm still taking Jalen.
Okay, why?
Yeah, and I love Bijan. Don't get me wrong, dude. Like I mean it. Like if they take him, dude, I'll be ecstatic because just what he could do in this offense. But it's so hard to generate pass rush from the interior, and that's what Jalen does.
You always say that. You always say that. Yeah.
Because who does it? Who can you name on your hand? It's like Aaron Donald. That's all. That's who everybody ever talks about. So I mean, like it's yeah. So if you can generate, if you got pass rush coming from the interior, you might just him and Grady alone, dude. Just thinking of that pairing together, my God, dude. I mean, like, yeah, my God, like, I mean,
the wheels turning, Johnny Yates. I can see
and like we said before, man, if he wasn't surrounded already by Calais Campbell and Grady Jarrett and Onyemata and guys that are not going to let him fail, like they're going to teach him how to be a pro right from the start. You know what I mean? If we didn't have that type of infrastructure, maybe not. But I mean, like, dude, I think, it'd be really hard on me to pass on Jalen. But again, like I said, I don't know, man. I just, I wouldn't be mad at it at all. I'm just going to go through the, Ty says, got to be Bijan. Let's go. I knew you were going to say that, buddy. Yeah, I mean, what's going on, Big John? Good to see you, man. Sorry.
John, what up?
Steven said, I'm still pretty cool with Skronsky at 8 offensive guards position that is on the field every play, helps both run game, sort of the Bijan argument, but helps the pass game and does out. Yeah.
Steve was not going to make that comment without throwing Dez in there. You see, at the end of that comment, he threw Dez in there. Steve wasn't going to let that go. I knew he was coming.
Yeah.
It's going to help Dez out.
Yeah, and I mean, Skronsky, I think, is a good, will be a really good offensive lineman. I love Cody Mock, who might be there at 44, who we could pick up. Paris Johnson's another guy who said he wants to play for the Falcons, and he would play guard for the Falcons. And I think he actually might be a better guard than he is a tackle. I'm not going to hate it if we go offensive tackle there. I mean, if we go guard, it's not sexy. It's not, it's an 8th pick and you're going to pick a guard, but it probably would be an effective pick. Let's put it that way. But I don't think I would go that direction. Dre says, as much as I don't want to run him back at 8, let alone the first round this year, he's making a ton of sense. So if they won't, if they do it won't
taking the words out of my mouth, Dre. That's how I feel. I wouldn't have never said it, but it's hard to argue with Barry Sanders, Adrian Peterson, like the names they linking them to. It's hard for me to go against that.
Well, I mean, he'd have an instant impact. Like it'd be instant first year out of the gate, like instant impact.
And I just feel like your first, if you draft in the top 10, that's my only thing is I don't feel like it should be a workout, like working on a project to see what you do in year 3. So top 10 should be an instant impact. And you won't always hit that, but at least it should look like it's going to be an instant impact.
Yeah, and like Steven just said, my argument against Bijan at 8 is less about him and more about how I like the whole damn running back class. Yeah, feel like you can get extremely good running back value on day 2 and 3. And that's true. That's what I said earlier with Eric. I mean, there's some really good running backs later on in the draft that, you got to determine like what's the fall off. Is Bijan going to be that much better that you can? I mean, can he basically secure you 1 or 2 more wins, which could be a playoff or not, or a playoff win or not? If you think the answer is yes, then you take Bijan. But if you don't, if you think that Roschon Johnson or Jahmyr Gibbs, if he's there, or insert whatever running back you like, could do the same thing with Tyler, then maybe you go a different direction. That's the thing. There hasn't many running backs in the last, I don't know how many years, dude. I would say, jump. I'd be okay with a first rounder. Like this is the only one. You know what I mean? And like it was. I wasn't like that till I started watching the film. So what's going on, Kendra? Good to see you. Learning more about leaning toward
Rob kind of swaying the crowd. I love it. The whole crowd is swaying because Rob. I love it.
Yeah.
I said all of that logic, Rob will only take the pressure off the pass game. And you hear that, Steve? Steve, it may take the pressure off.
Yeah,
Smith got to really get creative with that's what I want to see. But in all honesty, I think if you get those pieces by default, you have to be creative.
You'd hope so. I mean, especially. Good on
Smitty, what up, man?
I'm sure y'all already are, but if you're not, go make sure you're following Spitty Sports Machine. And by the way, Alberto's 95 North Falcons Talk Show. Got to do that. And
Smitty's
Bijan,
the guy.
Smitty said Bijan at running back is a must.
Yeah.
He said, which running back is a part of the Falcons' long-term plan? Oh, wait.
See?
I mean, I would think Tyler, but I mean, that's, you know, you don't bank it all on Tyler, man. Like, you know.
Smitty, I got to ask you, man, I'm down to know what you think. If Bijan is gone, who are you taking? Put it in the chat, please, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Drace, I understand the scheme, and you are correct. He's a match made in heaven for us, but I feel we could just get another running back that could do at least half of what he does, not Bijan level, but good. Yeah, that's what we're just talking about. Yeah, I mean, if you can, and like I said, you feel like that guy can be as effective with Tyler, okay. But, you know, I think Bijan may be the guy that can really get you a couple more wins during the season, you know, on his back. I mean, you look at what Saquon did with New York last year. I mean, like, they were in the playoffs last year.
Man, it really sounds like y'all saying that the boy is generational talent. So I'm not going against that. Like you said, just to fill a need. I'm not doing that just to address a need for common sense purpose. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, Jason Jonathan Mingo is a beat. Yeah, dude, hard to love. I love that they love him because he would be a hell of a fit for sure. Uncle Steve, what's happening?
Uncle Steve.
Also, make sure you check out Uncle Steve's Lounge. Fantastic show, man. Every week, and actually a couple times a week. And
I'm trying to know what Uncle Steve thinks. So Uncle Steve said, "What's happening, John, Mike, and Eric? I get the love fest for him and Bijan. Would immediately jump to the number 2 running back in the NFC South behind Kamara. But I still have reservations about getting a running back that high. So I ask you too, Uncle Steve, if he is gone, who are you taking? I want to know."
Yeah, and I get that. I just think you're looking at him not just as a running back. I mean, he's going to be, like I said, he could be a slot receiver. He can line up running back. He could be a blocker. I mean, like, he can do a lot of things. So if you're getting him as a wide receiver running back combo, then that makes it a little bit more doable at 8 for me, at least. Yeah, Andre said this offense would be lethal for sure. With Bijan, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Ty said, Dre, if you like Spears, you'll love Keaton Mitchell. Yeah. Keaton Mitchell is a fast son of a bitch, man. Like, he is quick. He's Eastern Carolina, small school. Not a lot of people have seen him, but man, that dude can play. Obviously, playing what's happening, man?
What's up, buddy?
ATL Georgia Faithful, what's good?
Hey, what up, bud?
Make sure y'all check him out too, man. Always got good Falcons takes. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to catch up with the chat because we got going with E-Rob and let's see. Here we go. D. He would be a great running back, but he's too high. I'd rather get an defensive player to seal the defense in general with an 8th pick and select an RB later in the round. Yeah, I don't think, like I said, man, if they feel like Tyree or I just hope it's not Miles Murphy. It's not nothing personal against him. It's just what I've seen, what I've watched. I'm just not a huge fan. If I'm taking somebody at 8 on a defense as an edge, like, I need that feeling to be just like consistent and blowing doors all the time. Like E-Rob said, Miles was surrounded by NFL talent, man, and he actually kind of went down his senior year, you know, whereas Tyree kind of went up. But anyway, if they feel like that, they can take a guy on defense and make him that guy. All right, cool, man. Let's do it. Man, that's a good call, Alberto. Take Rod Coleman. Remember Rod Coleman? That'd be a good pick. Millie said Vick. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to go wrong, man. That'd be a pretty amazing pick. Chris said, what's your opinion on guard at 8? Yeah, we kind of talked about it with Steven. Again, I won't hate it. It'll depend on who's there, but if it's like regardless of who's there, if Jalen Carter's there, you're taking Jalen Carter. That's just my opinion. But if he's gone and it's, say, a Tyree Wilson and, I don't know, one of the 2 corners, Christian or Witherspoon, or a guard, I'm still probably going one of those 2 defensive picks more than likely. That's just me.
Okay.
But I won't hate it. Like I said, they're both good. But you can find pretty decent guards, I think, in the back, not back end, but second or third day at least. Jason, I'm taking the hammer for this year alone. Man, that'd be a great pick. Jussie Tuggle would be fantastic. To have that true middle linebacker thumping in the middle, that'd be great, man. I said, give me Grady. Yeah, exactly.
Anderson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He said, Eric and Adam always putting up these solid Bijan arguments. Yeah, I gotta give him credit. Still ain't been moved on it.
He's not budging.
Yeah, dude. Well, dude, when we had Steven on, I was totally against it at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I was with it. I didn't.
Steve want that offensive line short up. That's Steve's thing. Protect Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, man. At that point, man, I just didn't. I was with him. But that was really before I'd kind of watched a lot of the tape on Bijan and just kind of put some more thought into it. And was like, yeah, okay, well, this kind of makes a lot of sense. And if it happens, then great. I honestly don't think it's if you're asking me what I think the Falcons are going to do, I still don't think it's a very high probability they take Bijan. Personally, I think they will go probably a defensive scheme. Yeah. One of those defensive players. But again, I'm not going to be mad if they do. Let's see what Bowl Bros. What's happening?
Bowl Bros. Those are my guys.
By the way, Sunday 7 p.m. Bolt Bros channel. Make sure y'all go check them out. I know they're a Chargers podcast. It's all good. They're friends. They're having a draft show. So we're going to be on their draft show talking about obviously the Falcons and just the draft in general. They're going to have other guests on as well, man. It's going to be a fun show.
Man, it's the West Coast out of your Falcon mind. We love those dudes.
Absolutely, man. And he said, hit that like button. These guys are the best. Hey, thank you, buddy.
Oh, bro,
and that's right. I didn't say that before, but I think we're at 397 subscribers, so 3 away from 400. So we got to get to we wanted to get to 400 before the draft. I think we're going to, because we're only 15 days away. We could definitely get 3 in 15 days. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, just know that the live draft show we're going to have, I'm not putting a 3-hour or whatever hell show that's going to be on Spotify, because nobody's going to listen to that. So, but I would definitely encourage y'all to, if you have YouTube, if you don't, sign up, just really easy with your email, whatever, and come hang out with us on draft night. We're going to be having a live stream on the draft. I know Pound for Pound's doing one. I'm pretty sure Smitty and Alberto's doing one with Uncle Steve. I know there's a lot of folks, and if you guys come to ours, that's great. But I will say, just go to one of these Falcons creators that's doing a live draft show. Go watch one of them, whether it's us or somebody else, man, because it's going to be great. ESPN does their thing, NFL Network does their thing, but we're going to be talking about the picks, all the picks, but especially ours, and what we think about it. So, come check us out. Or
my mom like the Bolt Bros. So
there you go.
My mom like those guys. I love them.
He said we all need that button gut up the middle.
Yeah,
absolutely. And Darius, it would be ridiculous, dude. It really would. It would be crazy. Millie said, now what if we go JSN? Man, I don't think we would. And he's talking about Jackson Smith and Jigba, for those that don't know, wide receiver out of Ohio State. I like him a lot. I can't see him knowing Terry's thought process and the whole BPA. I can't see him being like the best player at 8. I hope not, at least, because if so, we have a very big difference of opinion on that. Steven said, I hear you, Mike. Adam's favorite tactic every time we talk Bijan is to mention Dez.
Steve is not, I'm telling you, Steve is not budging from that. He's focused.
Yeah, exactly right. Uncle Steve said probably Peter Skoronski, Mike, if Jalen Carter isn't there.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Ooh, so you with Steve. Okay.
You would go guard.
Okay. You would go guard. That's interesting.
And Steven said, if Bijan's gone 100% swinging for Zach Evans in the second or third, Levis film. If not him, Keandre Miller on day 3, out of TC. Yeah,
Steve is prepared, man. Steve.
That's the thing, man. There's so many damn running backs. Like, there really is. I mean, so that's the other part.
John, here's what I got to ask you, because you've seen the tape, and I want you to be honest with me. If you had to quantify the drop off between Bijan and the next level of running backs, how would you quantify? Like, explain it to me. Like, if you can name me 2 players, like how do you quantify that? What is the drop off there?
Like Eric said, it's
pretty
like
unreal of a drop off.
No, like if you're talking about if you're looking at, like, say, Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs, right? They're two totally different. Not totally different, but they're pretty different. So Jameer's a smaller guy, great out of the backfield. He can catch a ball, shifty as hell, top end speed's insane, but he's not as big. And like Bijan's a weird cat, man. Like, he's got damn near every quality you would like in a running back. He has all those qualities. Okay. He's got vision. He's shifty as hell for his size, man. Like, really is fast as hell, can catch the ball, smart player, like just everything you want. Like if you're gonna Madden and create a running back, that's who you create, basically. I mean, like he's that's just who. I mean, he's just that damn good. So they're, like I said, him and Jahmyr are a little bit different. Now you get into like his backup Roshan, who didn't see a ton of playing time because obviously he's backing up Bijan Robinson. But big guy, really good. He had a great combine, did really well. Top end speed's good, shifty as well. Not Vision's not as good as Bijan. So, you know, that's what it boils down to, man. It just boils down to how their scouts and Arthur and the coaches see that quality. Like, is Bijan going to be responsible for us literally putting us over the top in 2 or 3 games?
Okay,
to me, because that's in NFL. You know, 17 games, 2 or 3 games is a big deal. No, 1 game is a big deal
because it could put you in the playoffs. The 3 games,
or not exactly. Yeah. So that's what you got to think about. Is like, you know, if they really believe that dude could be responsible for really getting us like taking that next step, then I wouldn't be surprised at all, man. But we'll say you guys got a great chance to get Bijan. Yeah, I mean, he'll be there, I would imagine. So yeah. Carrie said, "What's up, Bolt Bros?" Yep, that's right.
Bolt Bros.
Bolt Bros says Los Angeles.
Los Angeles Falcons. I told you, that is the Atlanta Chargers. Those are our dudes. Those are brothers.
Yeah, for sure. Gary said, I missed all of Eric on the show. I will catch a replay for sure, but I'm back. Hopefully there's still a little bit left. Oh, yeah, of course. We still got a little bit of time left.
Of course. But you got to replay E-Rob because that was awesome, Carrie.
For sure. And she said guard is the least sexy pick at 8. For me, I don't want O-line, although I think we do need a left guard and center. Can we get O-line in the later round? No way.
So who you picking, Carrie? If they call you Carrie and they say, Carrie, break the tie, it's Jalen Carter, Christian Gonzalez, or Bijan. Who you picking, Carrie? You got to break the tie. Who you picking?
Yeah. And the other, I mean, John Michael Schmidt's out of Minnesota, the center. I would love to have him. If he's there at 44, depending on who they take at 8, take him as well. Like, you know, I would be fine with that. And he might be there at 44. I don't know, depending on how it goes, man. And Melissa, how y'all feel about Michael Wilson out of Stanford? Kind of think he's got give us Hollins a run for wide receiver 2 if he stays healthy. He looks like he's probably complement to Drizzy. Yeah, he looks good, man. He I like Michael.
Millie think out of the box. If you notice that, hey, I mean, I'll say this. Appreciate it, Millie, because you come with out of the box thought. I love it.
Yeah, I watched Michael a few games. I watched I actually watched his Oregon game, and he wasn't matched up against Gonzalez a lot, but when he was, Gonzalez shut him down pretty good. But he's a bigger Michael Wilson's a bigger receiver too. Like he could, he's kind of like that Matt Hollins kind of thing. Liam said, "Well, Dad, you really just skipped my comment." What the hell, dude? I said earlier in the show, I said, "What's up, Liam?"
You fast forward, Liam.
You said hello twice. Liam, I had you the first time around. What's going on, buddy? Lord, call me out right there. That's great. But yeah, man. So, you know, like he was saying, man, I'm not married to any pick at 8, though. To be honest, like I guess if I've said that before, I've said it on Twitter. If Jalen's there, you take Jalen. If he's not there, then I mean, all the cards on the table, man. Like, you know, I just want to ride with whatever they say. If Terry and crew are like, "Hey, man, this is who we think," let's ride it. I'm off. Unless it's something just crazy, out of the box type of.
I'm taking Jalen, Bijan, or Christian. And with the cornerback, I don't know that I would take Christian out over Jalen or Bijan. I want Jalen or Bijan at this point.
Yeah, and it makes you think too with Detroit trading Okudah that they might be going corner now.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So that could be Christian or that could be Witherspoon. So like one of those guys could be leaving at that point. You know, or if Jalen gets by Seattle, then I mean Jalen next to Aiden Hutchinson might be a pretty damn good little you know, a good combination too. So.
Like I actually watched Jalen film and I'm just so impressed. Like I'm just that's was my first like, damn, I want this dude. And but the way I haven't watched Bijan film, but just the
I'll send you
people I respect are saying Bijan, and that's insane to me. And that he's being named with people that I'm really big fans of. So now, like I'm saying, like I agree with E-Rob. Like, how you gonna stop that? If what everybody say is, that's how you stopping that, and that helped Desmond completely, man. With Kyle Pitts, that's a complete. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be mad about it if that's what happens. I mean, you know, and I get the folks that may have a little bit of reservation with Carter. I mean, I came in 9 pounds overweight to his pro day. You know, again, I'm not going to rehash the whole conversation we've already had, but yeah, he had a rough couple of months. So I mean, I'm going to let him slide on that. If he had a good meeting and they feel like that's, you know, he made a mistake and that's, you know, he's got all this ahead of him and he's going to put in the work. all right, let's go. I'm good with it.
Mm-hmm.
Steven said, call him out, Liam. Yeah, appreciate you, Steven. Got my back there. At least I got a strange feeling Carter doesn't get
Don't
past Seattle.
say that, Millie.
I agree, dude. I agree, though. I mean, Pete Carroll don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll just wants a player, dude.
Yeah.
And if Jalen's sitting there at 5, I cannot see them passing on him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless they're just like taken by some dude, like I just can't see them passing on Jalen Carter.
But good.
And he'd be pretty nasty in that Seattle defense too. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, so overall, man, I mean, so you said you would go Carter.
I'm going Jalen Carter. I was out of all the film that I personally watched, Jalen Carter was the most impressive person I saw, and I just y'all know what I'm going through. I just be a fan of somebody getting a second chance, and you kind of turn it around. And I don't want y'all to just throw the man in the trash for making a childish mistake as not a child, but as a young person. Yeah. I would like to see him as even if he played for Atlanta, I want to see him go up. But even if he plays for somebody else, I'll root for him. I just want to see him do well. But again, him or Bijan, I'm not going to be mad at. I just don't want the Falcons to do what my man E-Rob was saying. Just don't address an edge need and get, like you said, the third best edge, or like just say you got somebody. We picked the first pick because that's what we needed. I'd rather you get the best player that's going to be a generational talent, have a most of an impact on the team. And that's Bijan or Jalen or Christian. I'm not going to be mad at that. But just don't do no dumb shit just because you feel like it makes logical sense.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're going to make the team better and you're going to build depth, man, I mean, like,
yeah.
All right, that's cool. I mean, like, because like I said, that's something we never had. We really haven't had the ability to do in a long time because we've been wrapped up with some heavy contracts for a long time. So we finally got the opportunity to go out there and build a team.
Man, it's getting me hyped, Johnny, is because it's like you did grocery shopping at Walmart for so long and you at Sprouts now, baby, Whole Foods. You getting shit that you never tried and you never like, ooh, what's this? And that's how it feel like per week we all like, ooh, let me try what this is. This looked like some good packaging. And everyone's excited, and to get, man, our fan base is very negative every year. They think we're the same old Falcons. Now everybody's excited, and that's just to be a part of this, even though the season haven't started yet. I'm out of my Falcon mind, man.
Yeah, man, and I mean, we didn't mention it, but yeah, I mean, Will Levis did have a top 30 visit with the Falcons this week. We know Anthony Richardson had a visit with the Falcons. I don't read a ton into that personally. I think they have a lot of visits with a lot of people that they end up not taking, and it's not. And it's the scouts, man. They start working on these stuff like way before we look at it.
Yep,
they're working on shit as soon as the season starts for next season.
Yep.
So like they're gathering information then. So they, to me, and at the combine, you've got what 10 minutes, 15 minutes to talk to a guy. That's it. So now you've got like. You're going to bring them in. You're going to gather information. Not to mention you're going to be playing against these guys. So why not get as much information as you can about them?
Yeah.
And I just don't see him taking Anthony Richardson. I don't see him taking Levis. If nothing else, just for the reasoning that you've said out loud into a microphone that Desmond's your starter. And that. I just don't. That'd be a weird dynamic, man. That'd be a weird dynamic to pick a quarterback at 8.
Yeah.
After you've told Desmond it's it's yours, you know what I mean? And even if it's for a future type thing, that'd just be, and you'd have 4 quarterbacks in the building, which they've never done.
That's insane. Yeah.
I'm assuming Woodside would be gone at that point. So that's just the least likely scenario to me. Plus, I think those 4 guys are going to be gone. I think, Bryce and Stroud and Levis and Anthony are going to be gone by the time we pick at 8. So it'll be a non-factor. Because somebody's gonna take the risk on Anthony. I'm sure. Of it. I mean, and yeah, he's a physical freak, but I'm not sold on him yet. Just his accuracy and stuff like that.
John, I got a question for you. It's outrageous, but I got a question. If indeed we could trade up for Bryce Young, do you trade up for Bryce Young?
God damn it, dude.
That's what I should ask you about that. But if we had the chance that we could stay at 8, we could get Bijan, whoever. If you could trade up to get Bryce Young, is that something Johnny Yates is going to do?
God, man, I'd have to sleep on. Oh my God, that's a tough one, dude. I mean, he's and Steven talked about it with us when he came on the show with us.
Mm-hmm.
By far the best quarterback prospect this year, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just he processes things at another level than other guys do. I'll say no. I guess I say no. Yeah, I say no because
Okay.
I do think that Dez has the ability to operate this offense just fine. I really do. I think he's with what we've surrounded him with. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I mean, we got 5 wins with fucking Mariota.
Yeah.
Throwing the ball like a dingbat. So I mean, like, if he can just, like Rob said, if he can just not turn the ball over,
Yeah.
and just be smart with the ball and do what's asked of him.
If he could just be Alex Smith, you saying that we can go far?
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, that's still a tough one, dude. Because I mean, yeah, it's a tough one. But yeah, no, and I think the whole trade up thing too. I think that's not likely. I can't see a player that, because I think for Bryce Young, you're trading up to 1 or 2, and you're giving away a lot for that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So no, I don't think so. And if you're trading up to 3 or 4, I don't. To me, it's really. I love Anderson, but I think really Carter's the only player that you really truly can trade up for. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's if you really, really want him. You know what I mean? So I think it's still more likely we trade back. Than
I got you.
Yeah. Then Millie said I can see Gonzalez in Arizona. Then say this lost Byron Murphy. Yeah, that's possible too. Very possible, man. Steven said I think Tyree / Carter at 8 are the ideal pick, but I don't think the Falcons can really screw up. No, that's the thing, man. It'd be tough for Dimitrov to screw this up, buddy. It really would. Yeah. Kerry said, "I'm picking Carter at 8." There you go.
Okay. Yeah, she said I wanted Gonzalez like you, Mike, but that was before. That's what I said, Kerry. I wanted, I was Christian all the way, but now we got Cuz. I'm saying Bijan or Jalen, so I'm with Kerry all the way. I love it.
Yeah, and they just see, I'm even cool with Murphy not as low as everyone else has got. Yeah, I would be if they feel like they can put their hands on him and he can be the man. Okay, I'll trust you. I mean, I would be me, but I trust you.
I'm not doing it at 8.
I trust you. All right. Yeah. And curious, I'm on the exact same page as John. I'm not even getting my hopes up or heart set on any one player. Terry's going to BPA, and I trust him to handle it. Yeah, that's exactly right. He seems that I take it back. Levis State would be screwing it up. 100%. 100%, man.
Don't skip his comment, Johnny Yates.
Yeah. Yes, he seems. I feel so damn good about Bryce. Depends on the price a ton. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing, man. It's gonna be a lot. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. Curious, what about you, Mike? You trading up for Young?
Before I would ever do that, because like John said, it would be too expensive. I would get Bijan before I ever do that, because that would help him out. I think you can be serviceable if we get Bijan. I wouldn't need Bryce if we got Bijan. So there's no need to give all my extra picks, all this. If I got Bijan, I don't need Bryce, because you can be serviceable. I go get Bryce if I don't have Bijan. So that wouldn't make sense to me. I would get Bijan at 8 and then keep. I mean, that wouldn't make sense. I think if you get Bijan, I think he can be Alex Smith, and we go very far. Mm-hmm. And to be clear, I don't think he'll be Alex Smith. I'm not insulting him.
Alex Smith was serviceable.
Yeah, and he was serviceable, but I think he will be much more than serviceable.
Yeah,
I'm not a Desbian. Before y'all call me, I'm not a Desbian. I'm saying I think he'll be more than serviceable. I think playing a position of quarterback is more mental than anything. Shout out to Matty Ice. And I think he has the mental. Everybody's saying he got the mental. So again, I don't know. This is what everyone's saying.
Well, we know this about Dez. He's put in the work, man. Like there's y'all saw that offseason.
Yeah.
Y'all saw that little hype video he put out. I mean,
I watched that 50 times.
Drake's in the background there. He's working with him. He's going to look, man. Yeah. Like you said, you can. I forgot. I think Trey said it a few shows ago, man. Like you can say a lot about whatever you want about Desmond. He's going to put in the work, man. Mm-hmm. Like if he fails, it's not because of the lack of effort. It's because he's just not that damn good. Mm-hmm. But I do think he'll be. I think he'll be just fine. Really said, hell no. If I can trade up, I'm still keep 8. Give me Anderson. Then yeah. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of crap on Anderson recently. Like I said, I think Chris Sims had him like the 4th or 5th best pass rusher on the board, on his board, or somebody. I think it was Chris Sims, and. Yeah, I mean, as somebody that's watched a lot of him over the last 3 years, I mean, all of him. Yeah, I mean, like Yeah, there's definitely some, like I said earlier, there's some to say for how Alabama runs their defense now. Like, he got home a lot of stunts and stuff like that. And I also saw a guy say, watch the Tennessee game, you'll see how to stop Anderson. But the thing is, you can't watch one game. And I saw that with we saw that with Aiden Hutchinson, man. After when Michigan played Georgia and Georgia shut him the hell down, everybody said, man, look at Aiden, man. See, he plays top talent and he sucks. The man had 9.5 sacks in his rookie year. Obviously, he didn't suck that bad. So you can't take one game from anybody and say that's the player. It's that you just can't do that, regardless of what happens in that game.
It's Johnny Yates taught me that because when we were doing draft profiles, it's very easy to go to somebody's highlights, and anybody you go to, you say Jesus Christ, because it's a highlight reel. You have to actually go to the game and see, like, when you played him, you didn't look like that. When you did this, you didn't look like. So you gotta kind of be fair about it and go watch the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve said, "There's my guy, so I can't betray him, barring the trade, of course, being like a second." I'm with you, Steve. I'm so with you. Steve said, "Mike will have to look me in the eyes when he's trading up a Bryson." I wouldn't do it, Steve. I ain't no way I could look you in the eyes and do it. I couldn't. I'll be looking at the floor. I couldn't do it, Steve.
It's all good, man. Ty said, for all of the Lamar lovers, how would you feel about drafting Malik Cunningham in the 6th or 7th? Don't know if we have a 6th, actually. Cunningham broke Lamar's rushing records at Louisville. Same style.
Ty starting up. You starting up, Ty.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. And Jordan said, I just made it back. Just got off, missed almost the whole show. I'll catch a replay. Hey, it's all good, brother.
Man, I always appreciate you, Jordan, because you come every time. I really appreciate you. The replay or live, I just appreciate you always being here, man.
Yeah, man.
Love you, dude.
All right, buddy. So we're still up at an hour and 36. You want to do in and out, man, or you want to go ahead and close it down and go on?
I say we do a quick in and out.
Let's do it. You go ahead and start it out, buddy. Let's go.
I'm gonna say this. This is a creative idea. Now, I want to know if you guys are in. I have like the NFL Avengers. Y'all got to go check that out. It's awesome. But I had a question for you guys. Would y'all like to see, are you in or out on, I know Marvel has Avengers. Would you be in or out on DC Avengers? If the DC brand made their Avengers and they assembled a team and made a movie, I just want to know, would y'all be in or out on it? I was curious. I'm in on that. I just would like to see if they
have you watched any DC yet? Or you just watch
I haven't watched any DC yet. So I just want to know if y'all would like, I know Marvel had Avengers. If DC made Avengers where they compiled everybody into a movie, would y'all be interested in seeing that? I would. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean they have a Justice League, which I think was Steven. Yeah, Steven just said.
Oh,
Justice
shit.
League. Yeah, it's the same deal.
The Justice League. Now I gotta go watch that shit. Now is that good?
You do.
Is that pretty good? Is it better than Avengers, Johnny Yates? I'm gonna have you start a war.
Look, and what he says right. The animated series was awesome. If you can watch it, it's really good. Animated series for Justice League was really good. Okay, yeah. Well, I watched that with Liam like a couple of years ago, and we watched it a couple of times over. Yeah. Like it's really good. Yeah.
Is it old, John, or is it newer?
I'm not sure the age on it. It's newer. Yeah. It's not like we were kids type of thing. It's definitely 2000s.
I did not know about the Justice League, so I'm in. I thank you guys. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. So, did you see the YouTube TV, the Direct TV prices and stuff? Did you see this?
I did.
For the Direct ticket?
Yes.
Yeah. So, are you in or out, buddy? Would you spend your $350 for the? And I think it's $380 for if you get Red Zone as well.
No, I'm gonna tell you why. There's no amount of money I would not spend if I did not live in the state of Georgia to see my Falcons. There's no amount I would not spend.
Right.
But the fact I live in Georgia, you can go to hell. I don't want to see nobody else that bad to pay that amount of money. No way.
No, I'm with you. I'm out. Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, oh shit, because I thought about it just because the Red Zone's awesome, especially if you play fantasy or you place any bets. I mean, like Red Zone's where it's at. But yeah, I'm not paying $400 for that.
No.
That would be crazy.
What? The pop and getting me through all my night shit. Thank you, Steve.
Appreciate it, man.
That's what we do. So I got one for you, Johnny Yates. That's what we doing, Kerry. We couldn't leave without doing it. So I got one. Hold on. Ty said, "Do you think there's potential to double dip at running back running back or wide receiver this year? Like, let's say Zach Evans in the 3rd and like Evan Hall in the 6th or 7th. Mingo." Love Mingo in the 2nd plus Tank Dell in the 4th or Puka. John, I gotta let you answer that. He confused me. I couldn't even get through that. Now, what you think?
I think there's a better chance of a wide receiver being doubled up than running back. I could see that more than I mean, because you could go Mingo and then somebody like that, Tanka,
John,
Puka,
the
Tankdale,
dude you like that his backup, will he be there
Mhm.
at 44 or you think
Oh
no way?
yeah. I
For
think
sure, you think for sure?
100%. Yeah, I think,
Okay.
and he's been. I've seen weird. I've seen mocks from him for Roshan Johnson anywhere from like 3rd to 5th.
Oh
Like
shit.
so,
Okay,
yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah. So I mean, he'll be there for sure. So I mean,
Okay.
that's just I believe unless somebody just falls in love with him and takes him, I think he should be there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't think double dipping on running backs out of the question. But I think it's just more hell. I think in our mock draft with Savion and Fleet, we picked three wide receivers in that draft. So yeah, I think it's definitely possible. We'll
So I
see.
got another one. Johnny Yates.
That's a
Xavier
good
says
point.
one person pay for it and split it amongst the guys.
That's a good
Okay,
say.
I got one for you. There's a UFC fighter. His name is Israel Adesanya, if I'm saying that right. Now, this dude look like Julio Jones. Have you seen? Do you know what I'm talking about, John?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I thought that was Julio Jones in the UFC ring. If you look at this dude, it look like Julio Jones, and he mocked somebody's child when he just won, which I thought was the most gangster shit I've ever seen. Y'all got to go see the highlight. He made fun of somebody's kid after he knocked his father out because that's what the kid did to him when his father knocked him out. So, but the dude looked like Julio Jones was my point. Y'all got to go see it. It looked like Julio in the ring. I think he's dope. I've seen a few of his fights. I think he's dope. You in or out, Johnny?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I haven't been as much into UFC since we left Vegas because like when we lived in Vegas, dude, it's
saw it all, didn't you?
It's huge, man. Like it's big time out there. But yeah, that guy's ridiculous. Yeah, there's no way.
I mean,
Kerry said I'd be in, but Justice League, yeah.
Not as good as Avengers. See, not as good. I gotta see it now. Now, is the Justice League? I want to ask you this: is it pure cartoon or is it a movie like?
No, it's a movie. Yeah, it's a movie.
It's a movie. I'm watching that tonight.
You got to see. I liked Aquaman too, man. Like that was good. So Jason Momoa, yeah, that was good. I thought. Yeah.
Man, my mom think that's the finest dude God ever made.
Jason Momoa,
yeah.
And he plays bass too, which is
likely 4th round. Damn it. Okay, I wouldn't have thought that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out. I'm gonna keep using my brother's login. Curry, you stealing? I go to a sports bar to watch the game. I'm in Florida, so I don't always get Falcons games. Sadly, but just in almost any state, you can find your team has a bar. I don't think a lot of people know that your team has a bar in another state that you can go and watch all your team's game. And if not, you can go to Dave and Buster's and get a mojito, some chicken tenders, play some games, and watch a game. Dave and Buster's is the shit. It's my favorite place to be in the world, except the beach.
Good point.
Steve said, "I'm gonna be real. Mocking the child was hilarious." That's what I said, Steve. I always crack up at the mascot versus kid videos for the same reasons. Kids way too disrespectful. I'm with you, Steve. I watched that 20 times.
You see Blooper? You see Blooper last year at the Falcons? Dude, he like stiff armed a kid into the ground. And this little 12-year-old came up to get him. He just like put him through the turf.
I love it, man. I love it.
I'll have to send you that video. It's hilarious, man. All right, man. So I watched for the first time in years. I watched WrestleMania a few weeks ago.
Oh, you got to tell me, Johnny Yates.
Dude, I was thoroughly entertained, man.
Seriously?
And I've like, because Liam watched it a little while, then he kind of got out of it. And I've got buddies that watch it, and so I kind of know like what's going on, like some of the storylines, whatever. But I haven't watched it in a long time.
Okay.
So like, I turned it on, man. It was in LA. It was at SoFi actually, and it was I was and I saw people afterwards tweeting like, "This is got to be the best WrestleMania ever." I was like, "Oh shit," because I just hadn't seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Cody Rhodes was, Dusty Rhodes, the whole family tree, whatever was there, and so it was. I might start watching it again. I might. It might be enough to pull me back in.
That is awesome. Yeah. WrestleMania, you hit it here first. I used to watch the Royal Rumble. I used to think that was the dopest idea ever. Just everybody had free fall until you get put out the ring. That was dope.
Yeah.
And my favorite wrestler ever was the Ultimate Warrior. No one got me hyped like that. No, he come in shaking the ropes. I just thought he was dope. So I got one, Johnny Yates. How good are you in or out? Do you remember? I know the kids don't know what I'm talking about, but we used to actually play outside, where the sun could hit our skin and shit. But remember, we was outside. Are you in or out from drinking from the water hose? You remember that?
Of course I'm in.
Oh
Hell
man,
yeah.
just went on what we didn't care if it had lead poison with that weed drinking out that water hose. That water hose was refreshing. I am in,
So
buddy.
cold.
In or out?
Oh hell yeah,
Drinking
man.
from the water
I was
hose.
absolutely that age. Yeah. Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Come
Yeah.
on, man.
Dude, that was actually on our football field in high school still. It was like if you
Yeah,
wanted water,
yep.
you still went to the hose. Like
You
that
go
was
to
like
the
there was
hose.
no
Yeah, they don't do that now. Everybody got bottled water. It's weird.
Oh, no, yeah, no. I take it 100%, 100 times over bottled water.
The beach, hey Kerry, I'm with you. The beach is my favorite place to be. Dave and Buster's is my second favorite place to be. I am a child.
Dude.
And you can play games and drink alcohol and eat food and bowl and watch football. Man, what more can you ask for? Like that is Dave and Buster's is the shit.
Dude, speaking of bowling, so there's a place in Kennesaw called Bolero. Have you heard of this? Is it around? I don't know if it's around.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so it's like an arcade. They got
Yeah.
laser tag. So Liam went to one of his teammates' birthday party on Saturday there,
Mhm.
and Amanda was like, "Oh, let me just see what these prices are, dude." To rent 2 lanes for 2 hours just to bowl, what would you think that might cost? Any idea? 2 lanes, 2 hours.
I just want to say $40, but I know you're going way over.
$150.
That's fucking
for
ridiculous.
2 hours to
That's
bowl.
fucking ridiculous. So it's $75 an hour.
To bowl, yes.
That's ridiculous.
And I know it's Saturday, but I mean, like, what the hell?
Maybe it was because that's still a lot.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot. I'm out on that.
Yeah.
Hey, Mad Mike Sports said just subscribe 2 times for that.
Thank you, buddy. We're 400, buddy.
Mad Mike, appreciate you, brother.
I love you, man.
That's awesome, man.
Anybody else subscribe? We love it.
Onward and upward. Yeah, man. That's great.
Steve said 100% drink from the water. It's hit different. That's what I said. You go to you don't got to go in the house all funky. You stay outside and drink from the water. Haven't you heard your mom say, "Man, you smell like outside, boy"? And she say, "Stop running in and out this house. You make a decision. You bring your ass in here again. You're staying in. So you stay outside and drink from the water hose. It was awesome. You just pee in the street."
I think Kerry got you on this one, brother.
Kerry, now you corrected me, and now I want to tell you the strip club is actually my favorite place to be. I have a strip pole in my apartment, the real strip pole from the club. I didn't get the cheap one. I got the actual pole from the club, professionally installed with the lights. I had a whole, and man, I've had apartments. When I go get apartments, I get 2 bedrooms. I swear to God, I didn't do it here, but I always get 2 bedrooms, so I have a whole strip club room. I pay strippers to come to my house all the time, and it gets extracurricular. Don't judge me because I don't judge you, okay? I have a good time. Okay? Now let me tell you what. I got a good one. I got a good one. Now, this is a one. Now, this is a controversial one. Millie Mills, the Ultimate Warrior, you remember. Now, this is a controversial one, okay? Again, don't judge me, and I won't judge you for this, okay? Are you guys in or out on, it's 2 sides to this coin. Are you in or out on?
Man, happened to freeze right when you're about to deliver it too. Man. Kerry said, John, is that price for 2 lanes include 2? No, it doesn't. It was like, I think you got, there's like a little food credit, but it was nothing great. And then like a Coke or something like that. I mean, it was insane still for even that price. Like there was no arcade with it or anything like that. It was just for bowling. It was ridiculous. Steven, impeccable time. Yeah, it's amazing, man. Every time too, it hits him just like at the right spot. He's like, it cracks me up, man. Freaking hilarious. Which, I mean, we are about to close the show down anyway pretty soon, but still, yeah, the good one coming there. This cracks me up, man. Ant, what's going on, brother? He said, hey, it's all, man. Well, just catch a replay, dude. It's these last 3 shows have been like damn near 2 hours long. So, I mean, there we go.
I'm back. I got a good one. I do want to finish this. It's 2 sides to this coin. Okay, you guys, sometimes you took a shower that morning, but you want to take an additional shower for no reason. You just take it because it make you feel fresh. What's up, Ant? Okay, now that's the side to a coin. Do you do that? Okay, do you sometimes just take an unnecessary shower for no reason at all? You don't stink. You just want to get in the shower. Or the other side to that coin, do you ever go 2-3 days without washing your ass? Because I do both. Oh, man. Sometimes if I don't got to go nowhere, I don't even brush my teeth. I might go 3 days without washing my ass. Okay. Now on the third day, I might get in there because it's now starting to bother me. I can taste the funk. I can taste the layers. But I wanted to know, do y'all, two sides to a coin, do you, number one, do you take an extra shower sometimes for no apparent reason? You didn't even need to do that. You're just wasting water. And then the other time, do you go 1 or 2 days until you say, you know what, I'm being gross at this point. I need to get my funky ass in the shower. Are you in or out, Johnny Yates? I've done both. I'm in.
I'm 100% out. And there's a couple of reasons to that. Yeah, number one, like I have to shower at night. It's like I have to. Like I cannot.
Okay.
If I can't sleep if I
To
don't
go to
shower.
sleep. I got you.
Yeah. So like I've got to do that. And two, there's no way in God's green earth Amanda would allow me not to shower. She'd be like, "You smell like shit. You need to go shower." Like she would be there. There'd be no like, yeah, there'd be no question about it. It would be 100%. You need to go. Like, yeah, take care of that. So yeah, definitely out. And it's like, and now Liam might be in. Like his, he might be in. He might could do that.
I'm
if
sorry,
you're still
Liam.
watching, buddy. If you could probably answer that one. Carrie said, "I'm not judging Mike. I'm trying to find out where I buy that pole bike." If you heard of pole fitness gurus, we do workouts at home.
I'm telling you, go to Amazon and get the real one.
They have that in Vegas too, by the way. They have like little. You should. They have that in Vegas too. You can go like take stripping classes in Vegas.
Oh shit! For workout, for gym,
for
fitness?
Yeah. Amanda actually went to one time because they were like where she was working, like she was a concierge coordinator, so that was one of the things people would actually want to do. Yeah. So they gave her a free thing. So yeah, she went.
Dope.
Yeah.
So dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Steven said, "In or out, lakes or the beach?"
Ooh. Beach. The lake is the lake is cool. Mike, I hope he never improves. And that's what I'm saying, Carrie. Every time I get going to kick me off, she said, "I hope he never improves his Wi-Fi connection only times because it's funny when it freezes." Yeah. For in or out, lakes are underrated compared to. I get what you're saying, Steve. Yes. So and drunken tubing. That's awesome. I do like, and I like kayaking, which is I'm from the hood. I didn't even know about that till like 2 years ago. It was an amazing experience.
I'm in for like fishing on lakes, but if it looks like getting in a lake, I'm out.
Yeah,
and I was one. I got into Lake Mead when we were out in Vegas, and that one freaked me out because Lake Mead's like super deep. So you like you look down, it's just black, kind of freaks you out a little bit.
Yeah.
Other than that, Amanda scared the hell out of me a few years ago. She read this story about, I think it was this kid in Texas swimming in a lake, got this brain-eating amoeba, and it killed him. So like ever since then, I've been freaked out about lakes. So that's just probably my own thing. But it's not
his name Marcus Mariota. He had brain-eating amoeba for sure.
Oh man,
I do have one more I wanted to end with. I just want to say this. I'm in on. I want everyone to remember that sometimes you're nice. I wouldn't even say sometimes. Right now, I know a lot of you all pray, however you pray to whatever God you pray to. You might, meditate, whatever you do. What I'm saying is you have to remind yourself that you're living in your answered prayer sometimes. Sometimes you're experiencing the shit you used to ask for. So while you switching to just you asking for more shit and you're not satisfied with this no more, sometimes you got to take a step back and remember.
Man. Delivering a great point too. Damn it. Carrie said, "Sorry, beach. No, beach for me too. Yeah, totally agree with you." See if I can take him and put him back in if that works. Man, just trying to clap. Man, Ant said, where'd you go, Ant? He said, "What do you think about Jeff Okudah?" Yeah, man, you have to go back and watch the first part of the show. Yeah, man. I mean, that's a great signing, man. Great signing. Little bit of risk, whole lot of possible reward for it. I'm all for it. I mean, for a 5th round pick, come on, man. You can't beat that. I mean, especially if he does ball out and we sign him to an extension. I mean, and yeah, absolutely. And you're back. You're delivering a great point and everything.
Like, I'm gonna tell you why that's crazy. It only does it when I'm talking. If I'm sitting and somebody else is talking, it never boot me out. It only do it when I'm making a point. But the serious point I was gonna make was sometimes you gotta remind yourself you're living in your answered prayer. You ask for what you have now. So sometimes just step back, be a little bit grateful, and recall that even though you want to go greater, you want to go higher, you want to go bigger, you want to go better, just sometimes relax and just remember that you're now experiencing what you used to ask for, what you used to pray for, what you used to hope for. So that's just kind of dope. I'm totally in on that. I just wanted to leave with that. That's my last one.
That's perfect way to end it there. I'm in with you, buddy. Yep. Benny boy, appreciate you, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Curious if Florida has amazing natural springs as well. I love to kayak go to. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, you're right, Anthony. Tennessee lakes are great, man. Oh shit.
That's what I'm saying, Curry. What do you get out of your Falcon? I want to read this comment from Curry. She said, I love this show so much. We go from talking football, strippers, and now talking about giving thanks for our blessings in our lives. You get this nowhere else. I'm sorry. I love every other Falcons content creator, but you get this nowhere else.
Hashtag blessed, buddy. Hashtag blessed. It seems like this show is the most
fun. Now, Steve said this show the most fun, and the only one I make a point to always tune in live when I can. Usually I'm a pod guy, not live. I love you for that, Steve. We appreciate you so much, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Ty says, in or out. I'm in on Out of Your Falcon Mind. Thank you, Ty. I started following you on Spotify after I heard your first intro episode, and then a Falcons Dolphins preview 2 days later. You guys always kill it. Thank you, Ty.
Yeah, that's an OG listener right there, man. That's from the get-go. I love it, Ty. I didn't even know that, man. That's awesome.
Steve, I'm gonna be tuning in next week. I'll probably catch a casino with some buddies, but that's no excuse to pop in. I just want to say this. I'm not gonna fault nobody that can't come to 100. You may want to go see somebody else draft episode. I'm not gonna. But that shit would mean the world to us. That's honestly a special thing for us. That's not a regular episode. We're gonna have a bunch of people that's come. Everybody is coming to the show. And I mean, everybody we asked said yes. Everybody we fucking asked said yes. We actually gonna let the chat join a few times. This is gonna be epic. And again, I'm not gonna fault nobody that can come, but man, y'all are family. It would mean the absolute world if you can make it.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna close the show, man. Because so yeah, what you just said, man. We're gonna have. It'll be next week, 100th episode starting at 7 p.m. And yeah, man, I mean, basically, we didn't know when we started this thing if we were going to get to episode 10 because we just didn't know how it was going to go. We had no idea. And you guys listening, you guys watching is the reason we made it to 100. So cannot thank you guys enough. Seriously, man. We thought we turned into Mike and I just bullshitting every week into a podcast. It's been fairly successful, would like to think. And we continue to grow, man. And the creators that we've had on have been so awesome, man. And yeah, well, Mike's right. We've invited damn near everybody back, and they're gonna. I mean, the list I sent them the other day is fucking long. So we're gonna have guys. Yeah, I mean, and it's not gonna be like everybody's. It's not gonna be like 30 people here just talking. They're gonna pop in and then pop out. Yeah. You know, so it'll be guys you all know, coupled in. And like I said, y'all in the chat, man, we're gonna put the link in the chat. So if you want to pop in for a few minutes and chat it up, we're gonna have, like I said, a few questions for you guys to answer if you pop in. And we're probably going to give away a couple of shirts. A couple pieces of apparel. We got to figure that out, but that's definitely going to happen, man. And we're going to figure out just how exactly to give that away. But we're going to do that for sure. Again, starting at 7 p.m. I don't know how long it's going to go, man. It's going to depend on. We're fully prepared to go for 3 hours if we have to, because it just really depends on who comes in, man. Like because you know how it goes. I mean, we'll start talking with the guys, and it'll just keep going, and depending on how the chat goes. But it's going to be. It's going to be fun, man. Yeah, Ty, we appreciate you, buddy.
Wow, from the start, literally. Yeah, and of course, strippers. You know, I'm not leaving them out.
Exactly. And it seems like going to make every y'all. It's a big landmark. Yeah, Steve, man, it is. It is.
Steve, need you,
it
man.
is, man. And Ant said next Wednesday at 7. Yes, sir. Next Wednesday, 7
need
p.m.
you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, welcome to come in, dude.
Yeah.
Like I said, anybody that wants to come in to the test in the chat, we'll gladly get you on and talk for a few minutes. And then following week, the 27th, probably 7:30 to 7:45, we're going to get on, start talking about the draft. It's going to be we're going to live stream the entire first round. So it'll be me and Mike, and Savion is going to be popping in. Fleek will be in. Trayshawn will probably be coming in from the new Millennial Falcons. And we've invited some other guys as well. But like I said earlier, man, I know Pound for Pound is doing a live stream. Bolt Rose is doing a live stream. A lot of the Falcon creators are doing a live stream. So if you're not checking us out, check out one of those guys, because you're going to find great content regardless. But of course, we want to have you here. I mean, of course we do. So or pop in and out of both. But still come to ours, So, And Ty said, enjoy the week, fellas. I'll catch you on Twitter. And
Thank you,
man,
Ty.
appreciate you, man. And Kerry said, I'll be there. Can't wait for the big 100. Love it. Love it. You got to try the Costco food before then, buddy, so you can give her.
I'll promise I'll try the Costco food before the 100th episode so I can review it. Jordan says you guys never miss with the shows. Love talking about. Thank you, Jordan. We need you for 100.
Jordan. And Mike said you guys want some draft night. We might, buddy. We got to figure it out, man. I know we're streaming it, but we're trying to figure out if we can do double stream. Yeah, we're going to figure out what we can do, man. So anyway, guys, as always, you can catch us on Twitter at Out of Your Effing Mind. You can catch us on Instagram, TikTok. Mike's uploaded some awesome videos, man. He's done an Avengers series for the Falcons, which is hilarious and awesome. And you got to check out Don't Know Shit at All video if you haven't seen that one.
Yes,
it's a great little drug that some people may need.
You have to go to our TikTok. You got to go to our Instagram, whatever. I got Don't Know Shit at All up there. You got to go check that out. If you haven't seen the 10 stages of being a Falcon fan, you definitely got to check that out. And the NFL Avengers, they're all up now. I picked 7 on 7. I picked 7 offensive Avengers and 7 defensive Avengers, and went all through them. It's an epic thing. You got to go see it.
100%, man. So that's it, guys. And again, if first time here, man, we appreciate you watching tonight. Hit that subscribe button for us. Hit the like button for us. Helps us get out there to more Falcons fans and keep this channel growing like we want it to grow. iTunes, Spotify listeners, drop us a 5-star review. As always, I think we have 38 5 stars on iTunes. We got like 21 on Spotify. So let's hit 50 at least on iTunes, and the next month or so, let's shoot for 50, and let's get to 50 on both. Why not? Spotify, iTunes. If you haven't done it, just go drop a little quick 5-star. If you leave us a few kind words in iTunes, we will shout you out on the show for sure. And you can email us anytime if you want to email us, atlfalconfancast@gmail.com. And for the second week in a row, I did not do the ad break, so we're going to do the ad break as I close the show so we can get that in there.
Your Falcon mind.
That's right. So, man, we look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday, 7 p.m. It's going to be just a ridiculously fun show. I cannot wait. I cannot tell y'all enough. Come for that one if you can. If you're not going to, do whatever you can to make it, because it's going to be just a ridiculously good show. So, Mike and I, man, we appreciate you guys. Mike, take us out, brother.
Out of your Falcon mind. Peace.
Let's be honest. You're here because you love sports. We love sports too. And our friends over at Row One Brand love sports as much as we do. Row One Brand sells sports wall art, sports gift watches, and vintage apparel with ornamental designs created from real game ticket stubs and vintage sports memorabilia in their collection. If you want some vintage Golden State Warriors memorabilia, they have that too. It's a sports collector's dream website for anything sports related. Go over to row1brand.com to check out their great inventory. And when you use the promo code VSP15, you'll get 15% off any item on the whole site. That's code VSP15 for 15% off any item on the site. So click on the link below and go check them out. Row Run Brand, America's best vintage sports art, sports gifts.
Johnny Yates, fuck it.